Hey, this is Mark Druitt with the Living the Outdoors Show on 95.3 WSCO. I'm down here at Deerfest 2013 in Oshkosh with Lee and Tiffany Lakoski. How are you guys doing?
We are doing great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Mark.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys as well. Thanks for taking the time.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. Deerfest. What a great place to be. Isn't this awesome to come and share your passion for living the outdoors with all these people?
Of course it is. I mean, we've been here a couple of years, but we missed last year, so it's nice to see such a great turnout this year.
You guys always have the longest line, and what's so impressive is you always wait and you hear and meet everybody, which I think is just awesome.
Right, we're just so thrilled that people want to come and see us. We never take that for granted. You know, people are, they hate that they have to wait that long. We want to spend time with every person, shake their hand, look at their deer pictures, see how their season was and everything. So, but it's a lot of fun for us. This show especially, we came the first 2 years, and we've been to a lot of shows that don't make it, and we're just coming back now seeing how much it's even grown over the year that we've taken off. And it's so great to see because it's so nice for us being from Minnesota in the Midwest, having another show in the Midwest that you can count on, being here. And it's so neat to see how the whole hunting thing has just blown up. It has gotten so big, TV shows and everything. It's so great to see so many hunters out there.
Yep.
Exactly, and especially the archery part of it. It's just grown over the last years, which is kind of a segue to my next question.
Yeah.
Obviously you guys are big archery hunters, and so many people ask me, Mark, what is it about a bow? What do you look for? What do you guys look for in a bow? Is it draw cycle? What is it that the comfortability factor?
You got that covered. I was like, we worked in an archery shop for years, so I think you got that covered.
I worked in an archery shop for like 8 years, and there's so much it's so much personal preference. People will say, the Matthews versus Hoyt versus, they're all good. And
right.
Trust me, if they're on a peg space someplace, they're all good.
Exactly.
So much of it is it's no different really than Ford or Chevy and all that kind of stuff. It's so much personal preference. But for me personally, the grip is so important to me. And like I said, the draw cycle, not as much, but I want a good solid wall in the back. So I shoot like at 100 yards at my house 1,000 times a day compared to 20. I never shoot anything past Tiffany. I only shoot my 100-yard target basically every day because that's fun to me. Because that's where the grip and everything else comes in, and the solid wall. If you creep forward a 16th of an inch, you're a foot off. When you're shooting 20 yards, and not that we want to shoot animals at 100 yards.
Obviously.
It's just when if you get an 8-inch circle every time, your mechanics are perfect, your bow's tuned perfectly, and you can shoot at 20 yards and you think that, that's a good shot, putting them in a 3-inch circle, but one of those shots that's on the edge of that 3-inch circle at 100 yards will be 2 feet off. So when you shoot longer distances, everything is right, and that's where the grip and it's individual preference. But to me, it's like you have your grip just slightly off on something, and you can zing one be a foot off down. So you really see every little mistake. So to me, the solid wall is one of the things that's most important to me. Just because if you're not right up against that, you creep forward just a little bit, that'll be a foot low at 100 yards. So you get so much more consistency with that solid wall. I like a good thin grip. Stuff that, but it's all personal preference that works for you. Tiffany is she shoots a lot of 80 yards. It really helps. When you shoot farther, it helps you so much for your closer shots.
Very closer shots, yeah, for sure.
Like 50 used to be kind of the end of it where her group wasn't as tight at 50. So when you start just shooting at 80 and 90 yards all the time, so when that group started coming together, you go to 50 yards and it's like you feel like you're shooting a medicine ball. It's like the 20 yards is half. So Tiffany, a lot of it was, obviously the draw cycle in it was more important to her because she just started shooting the Matthews Chill and she had shot the Jewel for so long. But the rollover's easier for her on the Chill, so she can actually shoot the more poundage easier, and it's not such a big deal for me, and even for women it's not that big of a deal anymore because bows are so efficient. They're shooting her at 23.5-inch draw at 50 pounds, they're shooting 260 feet per second. We were shooting 70 pounds with 30-inch draw, 20 years ago to get that.
Exactly.
But it's nice for her just for, if you are shooting, elk and we're at sheep hunts and mule deer hunts, you could have a 60, 70-yard shot. She shot what was your mule deer last year?
62 yards, yeah, and just
62
smoked
yards.
it.
That's awesome.
Last year. So, for her, that being able to get a little bit faster with a little bit more poundage, easier for her to pull, makes a big difference if you're ranging something and it's 62 yards, something they're moving a little bit, and a couple more yards can make a big difference if your bow is a lot slower. So, it just helps in that way, and just to keep kinetic energy up on those longer shots and bigger animals like elk and stuff. So, there's a lot of personal preference on it, but there are some things that you really look for a lot.
Exactly. I always tell people it's kind of like a good pair of shoes. You try on 3 or 4 or 5 of them, and then all of a sudden you step into that one shoe and you go, this is the one that fits.
You're right. You're absolutely right on that.
And that can be different for every person.
Exactly. It's not one bowl will be good for 4 or 5 people. It's an individual preference and how it fits and that type of thing. And obviously, in this day and age, you guys are big promoters and getting people involved in the outdoors. Does the outdoor industry need to do more to help promote that, and get people out into the outdoors?
Dude, that's a toughie. I mean,
it's so funny, like over the last 10 years since we started doing our show, it was mostly all men that came to shows like this, and now it's 50% or at least are women, and so many young girls.
a lot of young girls.
See that, and you just saw the report, I think it was in one of the magazines, but this is the first year since 2005 or 2006 that hunting numbers have gone up, and days in the field and hunting license and everything have gone in the other direction. For years, everybody's like, hunting numbers, people at the hunting license sales are going down, and what can we do to help? I mean, this is the first time this year that numbers have gone in the other direction. They're going up, and days of field have gone up, and all that. So that's great to see, and I think a lot of that is due to the number of women and this young girls and just the younger generation getting into it. But like we always talk about, her mom never hunted before, and then when she saw how much fun we were having, and it's not all about shooting something, it's so much more about camaraderie and stuff.
Exactly.
And once everybody sees that, I think it's so much easier for them to get involved. We see it 100 times a day here. My wife and I have been married for 20 years, and she started watching the show and saw that you were tipping how much fun you're having. My wife shot her first deer last year.
Yeah, I know, it's
we hear that
awesome.
100 times a weekend.
That's awesome.
Every show we go to.
And
so I think you're doing a good job at it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And you being such a positive female role model, and a lot of people, getting them and letting the women know and the young girls that, it's not just
right.
Exactly.
Just go to a shop or go someplace, or a family member or something, that somebody that's willing to mentor you. Just go
the
along with
equipment
them.
for women today, there's just as much out there as for men. Like
It really is.
different
Right.
than 10 years ago. I had to make a bow for it. They didn't go down in that in that short draw length, so you had to short string it, which takes the efficiency out of the cam, and it made it so much, takes all the weight off, so you had to put heavier limbs on it. You basically had to make one. I don't want her to shoot something I'm not going to shoot. So they had like little kiddie bows, but it's like, that's not what I wanted to shoot. So, but now, today, for boots and clothes, and
Everything.
Under Armour makes all the great women's stuff, and a lot of the companies do, and just the bows, it's easy to get outfitted now, which wasn't so easy just 10 years
10 years ago.
Exactly.
Sure.
I mean, it really made some good strides on getting the proper equipment to get the women outfitted in the outdoors. So, excellent. Well, again, thank you guys for taking the time. It's always a pleasure to talk with
Thank you, Mark.
You're very
Appreciate
welcome.
it. I'll
Thank you
spend the
very
time with
much.
you every chance we get.
Well, I appreciate that. Hey, for Lee and Tiffany Lukoski, this is Mark Druick with the Live in the Outdoor Show. Tune in every Wednesday at 5 on 95.3 WSCO. And remember, get the kids, get them up, get them out. Share your passion for living the outdoors with them. It'll make you a better person and live life in the outdoors.